Started, you need some things, some very basic things. You need a Wii, a memory card. I use 8 gigabytes. It doesn't really matter the size as long as your Wii recognizes it, but you're not putting much on it, so I would go with 2 to 8 gigabytes. I use 8. And you need a hard drive. Or you can use a thumb drive slash flash drive if you so wish. You, you could use one of these or one of those. I would definitely recommend one of those if you want to back up games, which is what you should be doing, and not one of these. Then you need some software, and that's it. So it's very simple, very easy. You just have to follow all the steps that I'm about to outline. It's not like modding a Xbox or backing up Xbox games or PlayStation 3 games where you have to have like external disk drives in order to read the game disc or anything else. You just need a Wii, a card, a hard drive, and software. So to start, we have to put in our memory card into the computer, and then we switch over to the computer and put some software on it. So once you got your memory card ready in your computer, you have to come over here, and step one is to get homebrew on your Wii. So step one means you have to take your memory card and go in and make sure that it is formatted. So if it isn't formatted or it has stuff on it, I would suggest just going through formatting it, make sure it's FAT32. You're the easiest thing, 32 kilobytes, and just start. You can do a quick or full, which you should be able to just do it quick. Then you just start, format it, and then you'll get a blank card. So once we have our card formatted, we need to get the software that allows us to mod the console. And that means we need all these things. So step one is just to get Homebrew able to launch. So for that, we need to get Letterbomb. So in order to do that, you have to come to this site where it's called please.hackme.com, and you have to put in your Wii MAC address. And then you have to click on the robot, and you can click either of these. It doesn't matter which one. You click one of these and it gives you a thing. So this of course is not a real MAC address, but you would, to get your MAC address, you go into your Wii under the settings, under network, and then information, and it'll give you your MAC address. So this is where you find it. So if you go in under your Wii, under your settings, then go over to Internet, and then you click on this console information. It'll give you your MAC address on the screen, and then you just copy the numbers for your MAC address into the website. So once you put in your MAC address and you decide what button you want to hit, it'll download the Letterbomb folder. So you'll get a zip file that's called Letterbomb, which you will need. You will have to, of course, choose whether you're U, which is United States, or a foreign country like Japan or the UK or something. So you have to look up your letter code for your country and make sure you click the right one. For me, it's U for United States, and then you'll get the file. So once we have the letter bomb downloaded, you'll want to go back to your memory card, which is currently blank, and you'll want to copy this private folder, just copy its entire contents right into your memory card. So your memory card will now have a private folder, and then you'll want to copy this boot.else. And you'll place that right there. So you'll have two things in your memory card. You'll have a folder and you'll have a boot.else. And what this is going to do is allow you to install Homebrew on your Wii so that you can turn around and install whatever you want. So right now your Wii has no Homebrew application installed and it has no way of installing it, which is what this first step is going to allow you to do. So right now we should be able to boot up to install what we need, which is called the Homebrew channel. So first step is to do this. Now we're going to eject this card from our computer and insert it into the Wii console and turn on the Wii. Okay, so we'll come in here, and then at this point you need to update your system if it is not on 4.3. So if you come in here and you go to Wii, and then you come in here and you go to Wii settings, it tells you right up here what your version is. If it does not say 4.3, you need to update your Wii console to the latest version, which is 4.3. So if you don't have 4.3, if you have 4.1 or something lower, you're going to want to scroll over and do a Wii system update. Don't worry. It's not going to harm your console. It's not going to do anything but allow this exploit to work. This exploit will not work if your console is not 4.3. So first step, you need to have 4.3 on your console, and if you don't, then you need to update. You have an updated console, your memory card is in the console, you want to come down here to this Wii message board and you want to click it. And of course, if you everyone will be familiar with the messages. If you don't see a red envelope on today, which most likely you won't, you want to go either to the previous or to the next, and then you'll see this red envelope. Click it. And what this does is this launches that ELF file that we put onto the root of our SD card. And this is what allows us to install the homebrew that we need. So once you get to the screen, you'll have to wait. Unfortunately, you can't really do anything until it gives you the option to hit number 1, which is now. So it just gave us the option to hit number 1, so you hit number 1, and it will tell you based on your Wii whether you can install the homebrew channel and whether you can install boot me. So you want to hit continue, and you want to use your up keys, so you just want to hit up until you get to install homebrew channel, and you want to hit A to install it. You want to hit yes to continue, and that installs the homebrew channel. And then you want to hit continue, and that's it. You can go into boot me if you want, but it will not do you any good right now. So you want to hit exit. When you hit exit, it'll load this little screen that's called the homebrew channel. And what that is, if we go back to the Wii screen, is a channel on your list of channels. So now you can see we have this channel called the homebrew channel. So now we don't have to go through the installation process to get back to that homebrew channel. What we just did by clicking this message is actually installed a channel onto the Wii called the homebrew channel, which is where we go for all of our homebrew. So, step 1 is complete. We have the homebrew channel. Yes! But we have no homebrew. So, if it's working at this point, your Wii has the ability to launch homebrew. Now, yeah, I love the music for this thing. So, normally you come in here, you hit start. It launches the homebrew channel and checks your SD card if you have any homebrew. We don't. So we get nothing. We get a bubbly screen. So we need to go to step 2 at this point. So back to the PC. We already have the homebrew channel, but we have no homebrew. So what we just did is we took an exploit with the message system on the Wii to override the Wii's iOS, which is what allowed us to install the homebrew channel as a channel on our Wii. So that's what this and this just did. So this was the installer for the home channel, homebrew channel. This is the exploit that allowed us to do it. But now we need homebrew. We need stuff in order to allow us to back up our games and play our games. So, in order to do that, we have to make a folder called apps on our memory card. So this is back on our memory card. Make a folder called apps. Go into that folder, and then you can download any homebrew you want. So, the way homebrew works is that you have this folder called apps, and every homebrew you have or that you want to use, it's just an app. So you just put a folder in here for each homebrew that you want to use. And then inside of that folder, you have files to launch whatever the app is. So we have a couple things that we need. So first, we're going to protect our Wii. It's very important that since the Wii can't use boot me, that we have a protection in place to stop the console from getting bricked. So in Wii terms, in English, that a bricked console is when the system turns on, but it will not get to the channel list. So before it gets to the channel list, your console just black screens or goofs up, and it will not let you get to that channel list. And if we can't get to that channel list, we can't launch the letter bomb that we just used. We can't launch the homebrew channel to get to any homebrew. So there's a thing called boot me, which is the option we just saw that it said we cannot install. We can still launch it, but we have to get to the homebrew channel in order to launch boot me. And what boot me is a way to back up your Wii's memory so that it'll back up your current state of your Wii, so that if you brick your console, you can go into the homebrew channel, launch boot me, and then it will allow you to restore your Wii state to whenever you backed it up. So it'll fix the menu, the channel list, it'll unbrick your console. But there's an issue where we need to be able to get to that homebrew channel. And if you installed boot me on your Wii, as part of the OS, it would allow you to boot straight into homebrew channel, and essentially it would prevent you from not being able to unbrick a console, and it gives you protection against bricking a console. So it's highly recommended, but we can't use it. So the second option is this preloader. So this preloader will run, it allows you to change a bunch of settings, which I don't recommend messing with, but it gives us protection, because if we ever brick the console, if we goof it up, we can load this preloader before it gets to that channel list, before you get to the main channel list. This preloader loads and will allow you to boot into the homebrew channel. So as long as we have this installed, we can go ahead and prevent or safeguard against not being able to get into the homebrew channel if we ever bricked our console. So the first step we're going to install is preloader. So once you download preloader, you'll get this folder, and you'll get a folder called apps, preloader, and then this is the files that launch it. So every app has these files. So you have the boot, which is the actual program. You have the icon, which is what you see on the screen, and then you have meta.xml, which is just data that describes what the program is. So you can have two options. You can either drag and drop the apps folder onto your main thing. It'll put it into your apps folder. I don't like doing that, so I come in and I drag and drop the actual folder, and all we're doing is adding it to our apps. That's it. So we have preloader now. Now we also want to be able to install custom iOSs. So we're going to download this B2X iOS installer, and we're going to take this and we're going to do this as well. So we are just going to take this and drag and drop it straight into our apps folder, and we're going to take yet another manager, and we're going to drag and drop that into our apps folder as well. Now we have three apps, and what these apps are doing, we already explained preloader. D2X is a installer for custom iOSs. So in order to play your backup, you have to have a custom iOS, and that's what this installs. So we need that. Yet another manager. This allows us to install WAD files that you can get, and these are mostly forwarders, and a forwarder is just a fancy name for a channel on your channel list. So we're going to create a new folder here now that we have our apps done. We're going to call it WAD. Now in here, we're going to take this guy that we downloaded, and we're going to copy him over. We're just going to leave him there. And one last step, actually, we're going to come over and we're going to copy over this USB loader GTX. Now, yours will not contain as much files as all of this. Yours, you'll have to get the icon, you'll have to create the meta.xml, and you'll have a boot file. Now, at this point, we have everything we need. We have 4 apps, and we have 1 WAD file. So that is actually, yeah, so that's all the software we need. So we're now going to take this out of our computer, put it back in the Wii, and go right back over to the Wii and finish. Okay, so we'll turn back on our Wii. Our memory card is back into the Wii. And now that we have the homebrew channel, we'll go straight back to it. So launch the homebrew channel. And now you see that all those apps, those 4 apps we just put in the apps folder, now show up. So now we have 4 things we can do. So the first thing we want to do is to protect our Wii from getting any screw-ups. So the first thing we're going to load is the preloader. So click it, hit load, and then wait for it to load. Then once it loads, go ahead and hit the plus button. It'll come up, it'll say, you know, that it couldn't find it. And then it'll give you the screen where it says at the bottom, install done. Once it's done, hit A to exit. And that's all it takes to install the preloader. Now, before we go any further, I want to show you what this preloader, what we just did, because it's very important that you understand what that preloader is doing. So we're going to hit the home button. We're going to shut down. And then we're going to turn on the console, and then we're going to hold the reset button. So if I come over here and I turn it on, and then I hold the reset button, you get this screen. So this screen is the preloader screen. This is how you would get into your Wii if you bricked it. If you did something and you goofed something up, you would turn on your console, hold down the reset button, and it will take you to this screen. This is that preloader. So from this screen, we can do a couple things. We can go into the Boot Me iOS. We can launch a title. Most important, we can go to the homebrew channel, even if our console is bricked. And then, of course, you have the settings which you can change, but that's not what we're focused on. We are going to continue to the system menu. And we're going to go right back to the homebrew channel. So now that we have preloader installed, we can either take 2 paths, this or this. So we can come in here and we can do yet another WAD manager and load this. We're going to press A to continue. We're going to hit A to continue. And then we're going to hit A to continue. Now, this will allow us to select the folder that we put that WAD file in. And we're going to hit A to open up our WADs folder. And then we're going to see the USB loader WAD file. So what this is going to do is install a channel onto our channel list so that we can get the USB loader immediately without having to go and launch the homebrew channel. So go ahead, click that. It will turn around and install it. Then you just press any key, and then we're done. We can exit. If you have any more WADs that you get later on, this is how you would install them. So we're going to hit the home button in order to exit. And we're going to be brought right back to here. Now, to show you what that did, we're going to go back to the system menu, which system menu is just your normal Wii menu. And what that did is it added this channel. So I already had the channel because I've already modded this Wii. But when you just launched that WAD file, it added this. So if we wanted to get to our next program, instead of having to launch the homebrew channel and then select USB loader, which is at the top, we can just hit USB loader from the channel. It'll take us straight to the loader. But just so you can see the list, we'll bring you back in here. And right here at the top is that USB loader. So we're going to launch this as our final app. Click it, hit load, or if you want to do it the fast way, just click the channel from your main menu. And you'll get this screen. Now, it's going to tell you you don't have a hard drive. That's okay. Hit B and continue. And what you're going to see is this nice little UI. I actually love this UI. And it's going to show you the channels that are installed on your Wii, which is kind of annoying. It doesn't really help. And to get rid of that, you come up here into this like Nintendo looking type thing. And then you click Wii Games and you uncheck the channels and you hit OK. But since we don't have a hard drive, we can't do that. Now this is where it's very important that you decide what you want to do. So you can either decide to back up games and play games, or you can decide to just play games. If you just play games, you can use a flash drive. So if I wanted to take a flash drive, plug it in, and then I can come up here, click Wii Games, get rid of this, and I can load a game. Well, technically I can't load it right now, but I can see the games, and once I install a custom iOS, I can play them. So if you just want to do that, a flash drive would work perfectly for you. However, if you want to back up games, you need to have a hard drive, not a flash drive. So at this point, you need to decide what it is you want to do. We're going to go down the route that you want to back up games and you want to play them. So we are going to hit the homebrew channel, hit the home button, then go to homebrew channel. And the only thing we haven't loaded yet is the CIOS installer. So we're going to go ahead, click that, load. And the third step, is to load in a CIOS, which is a custom iOS. So we're going to load this. At the bottom, it's going to tell us what our current iOS is. And then we're going to hit any key. So hit A. And then it's going to come up here and it's going to say, you know, it wants to know which version of the installer you want to use, what the base iOS you want it to patch is, what slot you want it to save it to, and then what revision you want to use. So we are going to do 3 of these. So first thing you need to do is come up here to the top and you need to go to version 10, beta 3 or beta 2 It doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to go ahead and use beta 2. Then come down here. It's going to say you're on 37. Very important. Bring this up to 56. You're going to leave it this on 249, which is the slot. And then we're going to change the revision to 65535. And then we're going to hit OK, which is A. And it's going to show us the list of all the slots that my Wii has. So your Wii, when it comes to iOS, has a whole bunch of slots that you can put different iOSs into. So there's iOS. So when we launched it and we selected, it started us at 37. So there's a whole bunch. There's 37 all the way up to 80. And each slot here can hold one of those. Why it has so many, I'm not sure. But we are going to install ours onto slot 249. And then we're going to go to 250. And then we're going to go to 251. So right now it's saying that if we continue, we will be installing on slot 249 the options we chose. That is exactly what we want. So hit A to install, and it will go ahead and install it. Then when you're done, hit any button to continue. I would hit A to continue. It'll bring you back to the main screen. So what I need you to do is on the second option, up it to number 57. On the third option, up it to number 250. Leave everything else the same. Hit OK to continue. And what this is going to do is install on slot 250 the system iOS using the base 57 version. And once you're done, hit A to be taken back to the main screen. And then I need you to go up and on the second option, update it to 58. On the third option, update it to 251. Leave everything else the same. And again, hit OK to continue. You'll get to this screen again. Go ahead and install. And then when you're done, you can either hit A to get back to this screen and then hit B to exit, or whenever it's done, just hit B to exit. And voila, you now have a custom iOS installed. And what that allows you to do is actually play games. And then we're finally on to the last step. So our Wii is set up, it's modded. We have our custom iOS, we have our safeguard, and we have our channel. We are going to go back to the computer and get our hard drive ready for games. Okay guys, final steps. So we are going to go back into the files we downloaded, and we're going to launch this Wii Backup Manager. Now, once you open it, you'll come in here, you'll say yes, you'll launch it, and what this does is it allows you to format your hard drive to be ready for a Wii system. So we're going the route that you want to do everything, but if you just want to play games, it'd be the same steps. So you're going to come in here, you're going to plug your hard drive into your computer. Then you're going to figure out, which one of these many yours is. And then you're going to come and you're going to select drive 1. Then, important, very important, you're going to come up to tools and you're going to select format drives. You're going to select whichever drive your thing currently is. So, for me, let's see. I believe mine is drive K. And you're going to select what you want it to be. You have a couple options. You can keep it as a Windows NTFS, you can change it to FAT32, or you can change it to WBFS. WBFS is the Wii type of file system. It's what the Wii understands natively. FAT32 and NTFS is what Windows understands. If you choose WBFS, you'll have better compatibility with your Wii, but you won't be able to stick the hard drive into your computer in order to copy games or to view the files unless you're viewing them through this program. This program can view them, but if you wanted to open up a file explorer, a normal Windows window, you wouldn't be able to use it. Windows would not recognize your hard drive. So I recommend going FAT32, 32 kilobyte, because Windows and the Wii will both understand this, and you'll be able to do whatever you want. So, select this, hit start, and then when it's finished, go ahead and close it. And then select a drive from this inactive. So you want to select the drive letter for whichever drive you're using. So I believe mine's K. Yes, so mine is K. When you do that, yours will come up and you will have nothing listed here because you have no games installed. I have a couple games installed, so mine all come selected. And down here at the bottom, very important, you'll see what kind of format you selected. So if it says WBFS folder FAT32, that means you selected the FAT32 version, and there is a folder that was put onto your hard drive that is called WBFS. The Wii does still use WBFS. The launcher will still read the file system as WBFS. So since we didn't format our drive as WBFS, it goes ahead and it looks into a WBFS folder for WBFS files. So all that is probably just flying over your head. So let me show you. This is my drive. So because I chose to format it as the FAT32, it created a WBFS folder. Now the WBFS is the file system we understands. And then inside this WBFS folder, we have folders for all the games that we've currently backed up or installed onto our hard drive. So if I go into one of these, you'll see that it is a WBFS file. And now, from this point, you have a hard drive that has the WBFS set up. It's ready to go. Your Wii will understand it. Your loader will understand it. You can back up games. You can play games. You can do whatever you want. So, the question is, what do you do from this point? How do you get games? If you have an ISO of a Wii game, and you're like, okay, I want to play this ISO. It's not exactly as easy as dropping the file onto your hard drive. I mean, you could. I haven't tried it. I don't suggest it because of compatibility issues and all that stuff. So, not to mention, an ISO could be 4 gigabytes, and the game is only actually 1 gigabyte. So if you use an ISO, you're wasting 3 gigabytes worth of space on your hard drive. So it's not something I would recommend looking into. I would just go ahead and launch this program, and this program will create the WBFS files for you, and these will only be as big as the game. So as you can see, for example, Super Mario Galaxy is only 1.29 gigabytes. It's not 4. So how to use an ISO, I'd be wasting almost 3 gigabytes. So on and so forth. Now, the question is, if you have an ISO, how do you use this program to get it into the correct format for your hard drive? Well, good question. The answer is to click the Files option. So you'll click Files, and you'll click Add. Go to Files, and then figure out where you want an ISO. So if you have Animal Crossing, for example, in ISO format, you would select it, you would hit Open, and then it'll add it to the list to be imported. Then you would go ahead and you would click it, and up here you would click Transfer, and then you would click the drive that you have. So for us, that's drive 1. It's talking about this, drive 1 or drive 2. So we go Transfer, we would say drive 1. It would go ahead, and over here it would transfer to the hard drive. And then if we go back to our hard drive, you can see it is now listed as a game, and it has its cover art. Woohoo! And then if we go back to our hard drive, you will now see that there's an Animal Crossing folder, and the ISO has been converted to WBFS, and it only contains 514 megabytes. So if we right click and we go Properties, this is 502 megabytes versus the 4 gigabytes that ISO is. So if we go back and we go Files, we go Add Files, this ISO is 4 gigabytes. We went down from 4 gigabytes down to like 500 megabytes. Like, that's insane. So do not use ISOs. It's fine to have a game in ISO format, but I would really recommend that if you have a game in ISO format, you turn around and use this to convert it to WBFS. And that's it. So once you have your games on here that you want to add, you close this, disconnect your hard drive, and then you go back over to your Wii. So now you just take your hard drive, you plug it into the USB port that is closest to my TV, so the first one over there. And then what we're going to do is go right back into this USB loader. Now this time you'll notice I did not get a message saying that the disk has not been initialized because the disk is currently connected. And you'll see that all the games that I have backed up are right there. So they're listed right there. And the game we added through the computer is right there. And then you'll notice these don't have cover art. So if that bothers you, you can go ahead, go to the left, click this, hit OK, It'll tell you it found 24 missing images. Click yes. It'll connect to your network, and it'll go ahead and it'll find the cover art for your games and download them. Then while that's downloading, if you have games that you want to back up, you can go ahead and get those ready. So I have all these games, so Super Mario Galaxy, the Sing It, the Rabbits, all the games that are listed on my games. I have discs for. I do own them. They are not downloaded. I've backed up every game except for one. So I will use this one to show you exactly how to do it. So once it's done, you can see you now have your cover art for your games, which makes it super easy to figure out what the game is. So now, if you want to back up a game, how do you do it? So once you're in this screen, all you do is take your discs that you have. So we have this game that we want to back up. And all you do is insert the game. It'll come up, it'll tell you that a game has been inserted, and it'll ask you whether you want to mount or install. We want to install. So you click install, it'll ask if you want to, say yes. It'll tell you what the disk is and how much data it'll take up. Hit OK. And then it will come up and it will actually tell you how far it is, how long it has left, how much space. It'll tell you everything, and it'll read the game and back it up straight to the hard drive. Yay, it's done. So now you just click OK, and boom, it's listed there now. Which, if we wanted to, we could get. And boom, now we have the cover. Now the last step is, okay, we have the games. Now we want to play them. How do we play them? So you just go in here and say we want to play Super Mario Galaxy 2. You can just come in here, launch it, hit start. And just like that, you're playing the game. Now, if we wanted to get to a different game, you just go to USB loader, channel, hit start, and it'll automatically skip the homebrew channel. Now, if you have any issues running these games or backing up these games, it's most likely because of your hard drive. So, for example, if we go back to the homebrew channel, we disconnected our hard drive and we want to use a flash drive. Go back in here with our flash drive loaded. And you can see we only have one game on here. We can go in here, we can launch this, we can hit start, we can launch the game. And you can see that the game works. So we can play a game, but say we want to back up a game. So we have a current disk in the Wii, and we want to back it up. So we go back to USB loader. Now, normally, if there's we would just insert the disk, or if there's already a disk in there, like there already is, you would come down here to this plus symbol, and you would hit that to install the game. You would say yes, and it would go ahead and get the title of the disk. Then you would say okay. And it would come up and it would do, its little thing here. But you'll notice there's an issue. It's not doing anything. It's frozen. So it's not reading any data. It's not telling you how long it has left. It's not working. So you can't cancel. No matter how many times you hit cancel, it's not going to work. You can't go home. If you hit the home button, nothing works. If the only thing you can do is power down, and it doesn't matter how long you wait, the screen will stay like this. So you can power it down in order to get back to the main screen. Good news is it does not harm your console. And then we can go back in here. Now, some tutorials or some forums say that if you switch the loader to use iOS 58, that it'll work. It'll have better compatibility. So we can go ahead and try that. I can tell you now it does not work if you want to skip doing this yourself. You can go into the loader settings, and then if you scroll down, it asks what iOS you want to use. So if we switch the loader's iOS to 58, we go back to the homebrew channel because we have to restart this. It'll reload it with iOS 58. It'll come up, it'll say it's patching. And then it appears like it's working. So we go back in, we say install. Okay, it'll come up, it'll get so far, and then it'll stop. So it got to 0.37 gigabytes, 28.73%. And it's like, yes, it's going, it's working, flash drive heaven. And then it stops. So if this happens to you where it either doesn't work at all, or it gets to a certain percentage and then freezes, then it's because of your hard drive, or should I say flash drive. If it gets to this, it's not an issue with the homebrew or your Wii. It's an issue with compatibility with your flash drive. So the Wii doesn't like your flash drive. Whenever it goes to write to it, It's perfectly fine when it tries to read from it, but when it goes to write to it, it hates it. So this is why in the very beginning I said to use a hard drive and not to use a flash drive. Unless you just want to play games. If you just want to play games, then go ahead and use a flash drive like this. Otherwise, you have to use a regular hard drive. And that is it, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more of these, like how to mod an Xbox, let me know in the comments and I'll make another video. And other than that, enjoy your games.